Hi everyone, it's
Hello.
Wednesday night. Say hi, Jenny.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi from down under. Hi from Canada. Um, it's Wednesday evening and we're really excited about our special guest this evening. So I'm going to actually let Jenny introduce Ray tonight.
Thank you, Nicole. So, welcome everyone from around the globe, and we're really excited, as we said, to have a special guest on here, Ray Higdon. Now, Ray Higdon, I've been following him well for a number of years, probably well before he even knew he was being followed. And learning, going through his training, and it's just lately I've really kind of, really got stuck into a lot more of his training. I'm currently being coached with him, and I find him to be one of the best trainers in this industry when it comes to network marketing. Real down to earth, straight shooting talk, which I love. One of the best recruiters in this industry, and a real authentic, authentic leader in this industry. And so, I guess, Ray, first of all, maybe if you just let us give people, your bit of a story about you for those that may not know who you are.
Sure. Honored to be on. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
making sure. So yeah, honored to be on here, and appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we can bring some value to the people on here. And so my name is Ray Higdon. I first got started. The very first time I ever joined a network marketing company was February of 2006, and I didn't understand it. I really treated it like sales, and I didn't understand team building, culture, community, duplication systems. I didn't understand a lot of that kind of stuff. And so I kind of hopped from company to company to company, never really creating anything of any value. And my focus at the time was on real estate until about 2008, and well, it was in 2008 when the market changed here in Florida, and lost it all. Lost all the money I'd made, all the money I'd saved. Went through personal foreclosure, and a friend had invited me to a network marketing event in July 15th of 2009, and I went to this home meeting, and I said, what the hell? I'd kind of sworn off network marketing because I hadn't, I kind of blamed the profession because I hadn't invested in myself to learn how to do it the right way. And so I just said, the profession's no good. And I had sworn off it, but at the time I had nothing going for me, and something had to change. And so I decided to run at that, in that company, and hit 10,000 a month my fifth month, hit 40,000 a month my seventh month, 50,000 my 10th month. Became the #1 income earner in that company. Did over $1 million in commissions, and in the meantime, I started doing different webinars, hangouts, and trainings for the industry as a whole. And so since then, we've built a coaching. When I say we, I mean my wife and I. We've built a coaching and training business, and we now have coaching clients in all kinds of different companies. And we're still in a network marketing company. I just don't really publicly promote it. We mainly focus on bringing value to the profession and helping network marketers play a bigger game, and recognize that they are business owners, and so we're here to help the profession as a whole.
Awesome, awesome, and definitely, I mean, I get so much value from your training and your coaching. So, so tonight, I think that what we would like to kind of touch upon and discuss really is what are your kind of top tips for people who've kind of burned through their warm market, or they've not really had a lot of success with their warm market, and they really want to build a team, but they're just not really getting the right people to get them to join their business.
Sure. So first of all, I would encourage you to, not just you, but everyone. I would encourage everyone to embrace the reason why people burn through their warm market. And the reason people burn through their warm market is they're not properly postured, and they don't use what I call differentiation. And differentiation means approaching people in the way that they see you. And so, for example, I was at an event, and this guy at one of my company events, and this guy got up on stage and he said, "I recruited the first 60 people I approached, and here's the script I used." And so everyone was like frantically writing and making notes and everything, and just so excited. And what they didn't realize is the script had nothing to do with it. It was all his posture and how those prospects saw him. And so, when you enter network marketing, you're either punished or rewarded for the life you led before network marketing. And, that can be, harsh for some, but whether it's harsh or not, it's the truth. But you can counteract that no matter where you came from. And so you want to understand, because no matter who you recruit, whether it's your cold market or not, they're going to have a warm market. And you should always encourage people to talk to their warm market. Just don't talk to them in a certain way that's going to burn them out. And so, number one, you never want to be addicted to the outcome. So you never want to chase, beg, bug anybody. Warm market, cold market, doesn't matter. So don't be so tied up in knots if your best friend tells you no. You're in a business. If you were if you ran a restaurant and you wanted everyone to try the cannoli but they didn't, you wouldn't hate them, right? You would just be like, all right, whatever, they don't like cannoli. But in network marketing, you get all weird, and so when we get weird, that's when we burn out relationships, and people start to see us as being more addicted to the business than to how we feel about them. And so you just want to be careful with that. Now, differentiation means you want to kind of come to people how they see you. And so if you bring me someone who is a business professional, someone who's respected, who's just successful, literally any script I give them will work. Okay, there's no magic script, but almost anything they say will get them signups. But the reality is, most people that come into network marketing, they don't have that kind of rapport or business credibility, with other people. And so you just need to understand that. And so a script that I could give to somebody may not work for them because they don't have the same background and history that I do with my warm market. And so just because I could lead with the business and they would sign up doesn't mean someone else could. And so if you're like the majority of network marketers and you came into this profession without business credibility, without a successful past, then my suggestion is don't actually lead with the business, lead with the product. And and a really easy way you can do that is say things like, hey, I just got started in this business. I'd love to get your support and at least check out the product, right? And that's very different, because think about it. If one of your warm market came to you and said that to you, would you say, no, get out of here? No, because that would just be a jerk. It'd be like, hey, I started a lemonade stand. Come check out my product. You're going to go have a lemonade. It's your friend, right? When it gets weird is if I'm saying, hey, I just started a lemonade stand and you should too. Then you're like, why would I start a lemonade stand? And so you need to understand how does your warm market see you and anticipate that. And if they don't see you as business successful or having a past, then just lead with the product. And here's what happens is people will say, well, I want business builders. I don't want product users. I want business builders. Well, you don't know what they're going to be. And so just because you say product when they go and watch a video or whatever your guys' tool is, website, video, sizzle call, hotel meeting, whatever, they're going to draw their own conclusion. But they'll never draw any conclusion if you don't invite them and get them to go to the next step. If they're just turned off by your approach, they'll never do anything. And so the idea is to get eyeballs on the presentation, and you do that by anticipating how do they see you. And so that's something that, I teach cold market, certainly, but I don't like to teach cold market without teaching a little bit about warm market, because when you recruit cold market, guess who they have? They have warm market, right? And some people just don't want to, talk to cold market because they're, we were raised to be, don't talk to strangers, right? And, so you want to have an intelligence of sharing with people how to approach their warm market in the right way that will never burn them out. And, I tell people that, the way that we teach, you will literally never burn out your warm market because there's no reason to. I have very close friends of mine that aren't in my team, and that's okay. I don't chastise them. I don't make fun of them. It's just like, it'd be like if I was sick and I ate chicken noodle soup and they took echinacea, I wouldn't hate them, right? It's just their choice. It's not a big deal. As far as cold market, one of the, a couple advantages to cold market is unlimited. There's just an unlimited number of cold market people out there. There's way more people that you don't know than you do. And number two, they don't know your history. Okay, they don't know that you've never had success before, or your warm market has totally shot you down. They don't know any of that stuff. And so it's all up to how you carry yourself with cold market. And so, with cold market, you can, be the type of person you would like to be without being weird, because with your warm market, if you come across as the, super psyched up, motivated person, and they've never seen you like that, it's going to be strange. Cold market doesn't know the difference. They have no idea what your past is. And so, you can do that kind of thing. And the neat thing about cold market is they're cold market. If they say no, who cares? You'll probably never see them again. And so, don't be afraid to talk to cold market because there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of people that, that would love to hear about an opportunity, whether it's your product or whether it's your business. That was a lot of talking, so I don't know if I'm on track here.
That's all right. It's great. It's good stuff. Good stuff, guys. What are you guys thinking? Are you getting some value out of this? Just let us know. Have some comments, and if you've got any questions. But so when you kind of had been through your warm market, then what did you do? Like, what were your strategies as far as cold marketing? What strategies did you use to build more? I mean, we all know, most of us know that you've got this big online presence and everything, but obviously you didn't start there. So right. What did you do to, build that presence, but also, to actively prospect, beyond your warm market?
Sure. Yeah, and it's, I like what you said there. I saw a quote on Twitter, and it was like, stop comparing your behind the scenes with someone's highlight reels. And what that means is everyone, anyone that you see that's successful has gone through some tough times, and they've worked their ass to get there, right? And so, I mean, last month, well, whatever, we weren't always generating a lot of leads, and we weren't always branded. We didn't always have, a lot of people reaching out to us and things like that. So, we had to go create the leads. And that's one thing that I see very common with network marketers that are maybe wanting to learn online, is it's like they're in a hurry to make a lot of money, but they wait for leads. They're like, I hope someone reaches out to me, and I just didn't have time for that. I was deep in debt. I was in foreclosure. I needed to dig myself out of there just for my sanity. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so, there's hardly any ways that I didn't prospect. I mean, I have recruited people now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TripAdvisor. I recruited someone off TripAdvisor. Drop
Really?
cards. Yeah. Drop cards. My back window. Let's see, where else? I mean, it's just, realtor signs, chamber of commerce meetings, restaurants, at the bar. I recruited a guy at Blue Martini. So there's just hardly any place that I haven't recruited somebody, and it's just because I was bold and I was hungry, to grow this business. What I don't understand is someone in one breath saying, I'm really hungry, I really need to make this happen, but they're not willing to get uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable. I mean, I remember having, I don't have one of my sheets here, but I remember having my yellow pad of all my, warm market, and literally every person, I said, there's no way this person's going to say, they're just not going to join, and I would call them anyway, because I was still in a really bad spot mentally, and, Facebook for me was one of the big ones, and, I would just, I would see someone that made a smart, intelligent comment, and I would just reach out to them. I said, hey, I saw your comment. I agreed with it. What is it that you do? And I would start a little bit of a communication. And so what was neat is I would do that. I would establish communication with, my goal was 8-10 people late at night. So by the time I woke up, I was able to finish the conversation. So I like to leverage time. And so if I'm about to go to bed, I would reach out to a bunch of people, and just, in the morning I would wake up and some of them had responded, right? And so then I could, respond back to them and start that whole communication. And, so, I mean, I was just bold, and a lot of people told me no, but that was okay. It just wasn't that big a deal to me. I read a book called Go for No, and that book really helped me in that, it helped me create a no goal. And my goal was to get 20 no's a day every single day. Now, sometimes that was, someone saying, no, I don't want to watch the presentation, or I watched the presentation and no, I don't want to join. Sometimes it was, follow-ups. Sometimes it was warm market, cold market. And so, it's something that there isn't a lack of leads. There's just a lack of hunger in the network marketer. There's a lack of hunger of getting out there. The next time you eat at a restaurant and you get decent service, shouldn't you talk to that person? And we talk to people at the restaurant all the time, and it's actually really, really simple. And so when we're at a restaurant, we'll just say, if we may lead with the product, which I won't get into, but or we'll lead with the business, and we'll say, hey, you know what? I'll look around. I'll be like, hey, I don't want to get you in trouble, but we're expanding in this business, and would you be at all open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? And so I'll kind of look around like I'm looking around for their boss. The reason I look around is I want them to see that I'm respectful, and number two, I don't want to go into a big long speech, because I don't give presentations, I give invitations, right? So I'll get their information. I'll never hand them mine, because they'll never follow up ever. They will never follow up. No one ever follows up. Yeah. If you just assume that no one you ever meet ever follows up, you'll be safe. And so I get their information. Okay, so I don't go around smacking out business cards because no one follows up. Who cares? I'll get their information, and I'll say, hey, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I'm sure you're busy right now. But hey, would you be open to a side project that didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Because we're expanding here in this area, and you seem like a sharp individual. I can grab your information real quick if you'd like. 100% of the time, they're like, oh yeah. And so that's hunger. There's a lot of people on this webinar, on this Hangout, and watching this, that they're probably saying how hungry they are and how much they need to make money, but they don't do stuff like that. So if you are truly hungry, you get uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable prospecting strangers. I'm not. If I'm on an airplane, I'm the guy reading the book and like, don't talk to me, right? But when you're hungry, you're hungry. You do things that are uncomfortable, and that's the missing factor is, are you hungry? And if you are, you do things that aren't comfortable or natural to you.
That's so true. I don't know how many people you've had come into your business, but I know I've certainly had a lot that have said, Well, I don't know anyone. I've only got about 3 friends, and they all, you know, they all don't have a phone number, or they, you know, whatever. You know, and they just don't know. And what you're saying is, you know, there are so many different options of how to meet people, but people, I don't know. You're right. They're just not prepared to get out of their comfort zone, and there's, you know,
they're used to arguing for their smallness. It's like they're in the Supreme Court and they're saying, here's how small I am, and okay, you know, true, you know. And it's like when you argue for your smallness, you have to experience smallness. When you say, here's all the reasons I can't succeed, okay, you're right, you know. When you're arguing for your smallness, that is going to be your experience. And so just understand it's not serving you. So if you want to stay small, then keep arguing for your smallness. And that's what most people do. They're like, here's all the reasons I'm not successful. And it's like, okay, you know, you're right. Versus there have been people in worse situations than you that have created success anyway. And that's the truth. You know, I've seen people that were living on their mom's couch that are now making 6 figures. I was at a company event. I saw a guy give, and this was at a pretty high rank. This was at a 6-figure rank. He gave his acceptance speech in sign language. He was born deaf. Okay, you know, have you ever prospected someone on the phone? He hasn't. But here he is making 6 figures in a company. You see, some people will argue their smallness, right? And they'll win. You're the winner. You're the winner of smallness. Or you will beat it anyway. You'll succeed despite. And that's just your call. You know, that's everyone's call. I can't instill hunger in every single person. The best I can do is inspire them by my actions, by me rank advancing, by me going out there and doing the stuff that they're not willing to do. That's how I can inspire them. I can't, there's no magical phrases that can inspire hunger inside somebody that doesn't have it. It's, you know, there's no magical, you know, I have 2 dogs. They're, you know, like 5 pounds each. You know, Baxter and Bella, you got a little Maltese, a little Havanese. There's no level of motivation I can give them to turn them into pit bulls, right? I can't, you know, magically do an incantation and they're a German Shepherd, right? Maltese, Havanese, right? You have to, the hunger, the size of the hunger inside of you is dictated by you. Unfortunately, not me. I wish that I could, you know, say a phrase and snap my fingers and make someone hungry, truly hungry, versus just verbally hungry. And but you can't. And so all you can keep doing is doing what, you know, what you do best, and inspire them and impact others. And you hunt for people that are hungry for a change, truly hungry for a change. And that's who you serve. You know, you serve those who really want to serve. And you know, that's not, I mean, we have plenty of people that just use our product in our team, and that's totally cool. You know, you don't have to be, you know, uber duper business, you know, knockout punch. You know, we're cool hanging with you if you just want to use the product. But if you come to me and you say, I want to build an empire, then I'm going to tell you what to do. You know, it's going to be roll up your sleeves time, or else just don't even say it. And you know, that's kind of you know, the motto we live by. That was
honestly absolute gold, what you just said before about playing small and people, you know, saying, putting their hands up, saying, well, this is, you know, this is all I can do, and instead of looking at what they could do to change their circumstances, they're focusing on their circumstances that have kept them where they are.
That's right.
I mean, guys, that is absolute gold, what you just said there, and I hope people really, really take mental note of what you just said there, because that was just so powerful. And so when you, just coming back to what you were talking about there too, about inspiring it and your team and finding people that are motivated, like a lot of people, what they do is they, you know, recruit 10 people or 20 people, and they think, okay, I've got my team now. I'm going to sit here and, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to try and get these people going, trying to get them to, you know, which we all have got to, you know, do something to help our team. But what's your experience with having, you know, a lot of people doing nothing and trying to, you know, get them to take action, and the better option of actually doing what you're doing is actually inspiring and keep recruiting and looking for the leaders.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think some people, they come into network marketing and they don't understand that it's a business like any other business, okay? If I start a pizza restaurant and it's highly successful and the locals love it and it gets somehow national exposure and it's trending on Twitter, I still have to sell pizzas. You know, I still have to go out there and sell pizzas. You know, and, you know, with network marketing, I think a lot of people, they hold on to, you know, legendary stories of the person that recruited two, that recruited two, that recruited two, that is now a billionaire. And, you know, you can win the MLM lotto. You know, you can win the network marketing lotto. It's just like the lotto. It's just unlikely. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, during the dot-com boom and then the dot-com bust, a lot of people out there trying to win the lotto. And I don't know if you'll win the lotto or not. I can't dictate it. No one can. No one can predict when someone wins the lotto. But if you treat it like a business, it will grow into a business. That I can assure you. If you treat this like a business, 100% of the time, it will grow into a business. And so, you know, I like what Mark Yarnell says. Mark Yarnell says, if you assume that all of your efforts for the first 12 months of your journey will be 100% your efforts, then that's a safe assumption. And, you know, most people don't treat it that way. They treat it like, hey, I finally got my two. You know, all right, guys, go do it. You know, and they're in the lifeguard chair barking orders. And that just doesn't normally work. I know, you know, and I was trained. I was trained by a guy named Larry Thompson, who, you know, he's done over 100 million in commissions. He traveled with Jim Rohn for 9 years, and you know, he helped build, you know, Herbalife to a billion-dollar company twice. Yep. And you know, his philosophy, just so you understand, the legends of network marketing, their philosophy is you got to keep leading by doing the things you wish your team was doing. And what do you wish your team was doing? Recruiting. That's what you wish. You wish that your team was out there prospecting and recruiting, and that's what you continue to do. Now, there may come a time where you don't have to do that anymore. In fact, I have a guy in my team and a friend of mine who, you know, he was in, you know, a big company. He was in, he was a diamond in a big company you've all heard of. And he built that for 12 years, and he worked his butt off. He did a lot of events, and then he stepped away. He actually hasn't done a thing in it for 22 years, but he still makes 6 figures a year. And, you know, he put in his time. You know, he didn't mother hen, you know, the 10 people he got in. He recruited and recruited and recruited and recruited. He treated it like a business. And for those that are on here and maybe you've never owned a business and you're like, what does he mean treat like a business? Well, it's, you know, in your terminology, it would be like a job. You know, do you choose to, you know what, I might go in to work on Tuesday, or do you go in on Tuesday or you're fired, right? You know, that's, you know, the way that most people treat a job is how business owners treat a business. But somehow, there's a magical expectation with network marketing that is unlike any other business or job, and they think that they can do a little bit of work and then it's going to grow into a massive thing. And that's just not the case with any job or with any business. And, you know, just because you can get lucky doesn't mean you will. And so if you assume you will not get lucky, and you assume that the efforts, your compensation is going to be based on your efforts, then you're safe. Because guess what? If you get lucky, you get lucky. If you don't, then you had realistic expectations. And so, you know, what I've found is by me continuing to do the things I wish my teammates were doing, I inspire them. And so when they see, you know, my wife and I, we recruit every single week. We've recruited every single week for 4 years, you know. And because we do that, the team sees that. Oh, these aren't, you know, white tower trainers that no longer get their jersey dirty. No, we got our cleats on just like everybody else. We're prospecting at the pizza restaurant just like everybody else. We're talking to strangers just like everybody else. We have marketing on the back of our cars just like everybody else. We're doing the things that we wish our teammates would do. And some do, right? Not all, but some do. And we do that by not by, magical training, but by leading, by inspiring, by being the example we wish they were. And, and we love it. I mean, we have, so many different leaders stepping up now that that are doing great. And I think a lot of it has to do with, just the way we operate and them seeing how we operate and then inspiring them.
And so and you've mentioned before too, and I know this can happen a lot, is where you'll have people on your team that literally do nothing for 12 months or 2 years, and then all of a sudden something, a spark, I don't know what it is, something happens and they get up and they can literally become one of your top leaders. You've had that happen before?
I've absolutely had that happen. And here's the thing, we just recruited this lady that she was in another company, and she there's a couple situations to it, but I'll just share the one. She got into this company and she'd introduced a few different people, and then she like broke her foot, right? I forget the accident, but she hurt her foot somehow, and she missed out for a couple months, and she ran into her upline somewhere, and the upline like totally berated her, like totally just beat her to smithereens on how come you haven't been showing up and how come this and that. And so she quit. She said, screw it. And it's something that you always want to have an environment where people feel good. Now, people that want to step up, you should challenge them, but they should still feel good. And so help people. And the thing is, you have no idea. You have no idea when they're going to step up. I've had people. So there's a couple things you do. Okay, number one, you always try to inspire them with your actions, not with your words, but with your actions. Number two, you stay around. Right? You stay around the campfire, and that's a lot of people's problem. They get into a company, they introduce some people, and they don't stick around long enough to see those people, grow to fruition. Right? Number three, you go to all the events and you promote all the events, because events for us has been the biggest catalyst for people to all of a sudden start playing bigger. And I've seen it time and time and time again, where, like when we, last year we made a move, and, the first event we had like 20 people there, then we had like 50, then 70, then 170 or, 200, something like that. And what always happens is there'll be a handful of people that get super inspired at the event and go crush it. And I've had people in, like you were saying, that, have literally been in for 2 years and not doing anything, that if I was like that other guy, I would have berated and what's wrong with you, and and made them feel like crap, and they would have quit. But instead, I'm just like, hey man, I'm here, I'm running, I'm ready when you are. Whenever you want to run, let's run. And 2 years later, here they are running. And they will always, 100% of the time, they always thank us for being so rock solid, for being so consistent, for being so steady. They'll always thank us. Be like, you know what? Now there's so many times I wanted to quit, but I saw you guys. You kept doing it, and you kept at it, and now I'm ready to run. And sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But you keep doing the things that you wish your teammates would do, and you'll inspire the right people. Get them to events. It's one of the biggest suggestions I can have for you. Events, big decisions are made at big events, and we've seen that over and over and over and over.
And I think when you have people like that find it within themselves to start running, you will find that they'll be a lot more committed and a lot more kind of got that go-getter attitude, because it's come from within rather than external motivation, which external motivation doesn't last, because then these people are relying on that external motivation, almost like being in a job and being told what to do. So, Nicole, do you have any questions in mind? And let's see what these guys have got any questions or some comments. But Nicole, if you've got any questions you'd like to ask Ray here.
I don't have any questions per se. I think that Ray's brought up some really great points that I know our team will get a lot of value from. Leading by example is just always so huge, and people will always do what you do, and they watch what you do even when they think that no one's looking. I mean, Facebook is a perfect example. You make a post on Facebook, and you think, and then somebody out of the blue who you haven't even heard of, maybe for 2 years, likes it or makes a comment, and you're like, where did they come from? So it's amazing how many people are watching you and watching what you do. So as you're building a networking business, I mean, it really is all about building relationships. So just getting yourself out there, I think, and having fun with it too. I think this business can be a lot of fun. It's a people business. So I just want to go out there. I love what Ray does by reaching out to people. Ray, I love what you do. Some of your videos, you add humor to them, and that is the
Wait
best.
till you see tomorrow's.
Best way to sort of if you can make somebody laugh. Yeah. You've got them, right? Because now they like you, right? So now you've got that first part of like, know, and trust, right? Right. And so just making them laugh. I think, and Jenny and I were actually a couple weeks ago, we were laughing at your video about how you were teaching about putting like a little business card and a rock in a bag and then got in your car. And you actually physically got in your car and had the video in your car, and this is what you do with the bag. You just throw it out the window and you hit the garage. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
I had to edit that to say April Fools in the beginning because people weren't watching it the whole way through, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And they thought you were serious.
Oh, I thought you were serious because I went out and tried it the next day.
Hey, you know what? As long as you don't hit the garage, it's not even that bad.
So, you teach in wonderful ways, and so you're hitting a lot of people. Your blog is wonderful. Everyone should go visit rayhigdon.com. A lot of valuable tips you've got there, and the new podcast is great too. I love that.
Great. Thanks.
Yes, we'll give the details for that at the end. We've got some questions starting to come in. So Chris is asking, how would you promote what you're doing to your team? Not really sure about that question, what it means, but I don't know if you can.
How would I promote what I'm doing to my team? I'm not sure what he means by that. Like what actions I'm taking?
Chris, do you want to be a bit more specific?
I think he means, how would you promote what you're doing to your team? So how do you, when you talk about leading by example, how they just see what you're doing, right?
We have an extremely active Facebook group, and so anytime anyone is recruited, we actually welcome them into the group. And so there are days where they'll see me and my wife, welcome 2 or 3 people into the group. That's leading by example. It's not, me just harping, hey guys, go out and do this, when we're actually welcome this person, welcome this person, welcome this person. And we'll even, depending, we're in it's a binary, and so we actually have text groups set up so that when we add somebody, we actually text everyone above and say, hey, congrats on the growth of your business. And so to some, it's like, because, they know they need to grow it, but we're just letting them know it's growing. And so, that's mainly how we communicate, what it is that we're doing. And we do conference calls every week. We don't do training webinars every week, every other week usually. But we'll talk about, hey, here's one thing that worked for us today. Here's how we're following up today. We'll share mainly in the Facebook group what it is that we're doing, and but they'll see the results. They see us welcoming people.
That's it, and they're thinking, what's he doing? What's he doing? I want to do what he's doing because I want to get those same results. And
yeah,
but when
we don't differentiate. One thing that I think is important is, like some people, they'll say, well, Ray, podcasts, blogs, those aren't duplicatable. And my answer to that is, not everyone needs to run a podcast or a blog, okay? And it's just like I have airline pilots in my team. Does that mean I need to become an airline pilot? That's how they meet a lot of prospects. So does that mean I need to become an airline pilot? No. It's how you handle someone once you've interacted that needs to be duplicatable. And so the video we send our prospects to is the exact same one we teach our team to. So we don't do something weird that is different than our team. We may get leads in different manners than people in our team, but so do they. I mean, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have people that work at gas stations. They all get prospects in different manners, but once we have one, we all use the same exact system. And so there's nothing that we do that's different than what we teach our team.
Yeah, so Chris was she just clarified and said, well, yes, I think you've answered her question anyway, but she was, basically wanting to know how do you promote your activity in town without sounding boastful, which I think you've already answered that anyway. So,
and I'll tell you, we share our bad days too. I mean, there are days where we'll still get a bunch of no's, and that's okay. It's just the deal. There are definitely days where no one's saying yes. That's just the deal. We'll let our team know that too, because we teach them it's not about having an emotional roller coaster, just going up and down. It's steady, it's steady Eddie. So if you measured our heart rate on a day where we got 10 no's versus our heart rate on a day we got 10 yeses, there's not that much difference. And it's that consistent steady Eddie, is the way to go. Not, oh my God, he said no, so we just don't have the roller coaster because this is a business. It's just like if I had a pizza restaurant and had a bad day, I'm not closing shop. I'm going to get back at it the next day, open up shop, and sell the hell out of some pizzas. And that's how we treat this. It's a business.
Yeah. So, and Grady's asking, do you use a marketing or lead generation system?
Do I use a marketing or lead generation system? I mean, I have learned from a lot of different systems. And, early on in my career, I learned from different things. I always liked branding myself. And so I've always preferred to do my own thing, mainly because I've learned that systems are hard to control, and and it's kind of like an uncontrolled fire kind of thing. And so I currently, I've kind of been made honorary members of all kinds of different systems and stuff like that. I don't really actively promote systems much. Now, there are some times when people come to me and they say, hey, Ray, I'm brand new and I want to learn capture pages and traffic and this kind of stuff. And, I'll make recommendations to them based on where they're at, and I'm happy to do that because, I'm not big on teaching that stuff, to be honest. So, it just depends. Like today, for example, I had a coaching client here all day. We did a VIP day. And this is someone who's creating his own products, and we're helping him with creating different products and helping him build his audience and things like that. He's not a newbie, he's much further along, and we have some coaching clients like that. As far as as far as system, I mean, as long as if you do get involved in a system, my suggestion is look at it for growth rather than magic. And a lot of people, they look at, there's a lot of system-seeking phone haters out there that they don't want to get on the phone, they don't want to build relationships, they just want magical fairy dust system, and that's the wrong reason to go into any kind of system. The right reason is to learn, is to grow and become a smarter marketer. And if, in that case, you go with whatever resonates with you and learn. That's the most important thing.
Awesome, awesome, definitely. We've got a comment here from Anita, and this is in reference to your first comments about your market. That it's very valuable information for me to pass on to my teams, as I was trying to get them to use my words to get the success I'm getting, but because I already have heaps of credibility, my methods do not work for my teams. Really love the approach with leading the product for the credibility and warm market, because that is true. Exactly what you're saying before. People who have that credibility and people look at them as successful, they're already making money, they're just going to have, like you said, it doesn't matter what they say. People are going to join them, but not everybody's going to have that same result. Yeah,
and it's, I've never seen a trainer teach that. I've never seen a trainer teach differentiation. I've always, because five percenters, okay, so there's, Larry Thompson taught me this concept, and he said, in network marketing, there's 5 percenters that are just, they're going to make it happen no matter what. They're just going to succeed at whatever they do, right? And the problem is your 5 percenters are typically the ones that become the top earners, and they also become the trainers. The problem with 5 percenters is a lot of times they can only train 5 percenters. And so they say, here's exactly how I did it. And they don't give any background. They don't say, just so you know, I was really successful before I did this, or just so you know, I had, really had a close relationship with a bunch of successful people, or my social network was amazing. They just say, this is what I did. And so the 95 percenters are like, oh, well, all they did is this. And so they go with that approach, and then it doesn't work because they don't have that background information. And so then they beat themselves up, and they say, oh, guess I can't be successful. And that's a problem, so you need to learn to, the empires are built not from 5 percenters, that was a big lesson for me to learn. I learned it from Larry Thompson. And he's like, because back a few years ago, I spent some time with him. He was like, Ray, your training is great for 5 percenters. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've never heard that term. He goes, yeah, you're teaching all these advanced embedded commands and NLP and all these different, phrases and sayings. He goes, most people can't do that, and you're teaching things that they can't do. They may be impressed, but they can't do it themselves. You need to teach things that anybody can do. And so if you take yourself out of the mind of network marketing and the big enigma of this profession, and you just ask yourself, if you started a car wash company, right, and you went to your friends and said, hey, I started this business, I'd love to get your support, and just swing by the car wash. All of your friends are going to do that. Now, they may not stay because maybe you charge too much, or maybe maybe you don't do a good job. They may not repeat customer, but they're going to go and get a car wash. If you start a restaurant, and people are going to come. Hey, I just started a restaurant. I'd love to get your support. Just come eat at my restaurant. Come check it out. They may not come back. Maybe the food stinks. Maybe the price is bad. Maybe the service is terrible. Who knows? But they're going to come check it out. And that's all you need to do. All you need to accomplish to build an empire inside of this profession is get your people believing that they can get people to check it out. That's it. If you can just get enough people to get other people to check it out, you're going to find the right people. And if you're teaching business only, then some people will never prospect. They'll say, oh, okay, oh, I lead with the business, oh, okay, mm-hmm. And then they go home and they'll never talk to anybody because they're not comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. But if you take yourself out of that, I mean, if you start a library, if you start any business, you would go to your friends and say, hey, I'd love your support, come buy a brownie, come read a book, come do something. And so, you need to get back into that mindset of the majority that aren't business gurus, that don't have huge credibility with their warm market, and that's where you'll get a whole lot more duplication. And the neat thing is, you have no idea where your heavy hitters are going to come from. And a lot of times they come from the most unexpected places. I've seen people that came in, recruited one person, but that one person became an amazing all-star. You just don't know. But if they didn't have the confidence to go and approach that one person, then you never would have known that. And so you just gotta help people go from where they are rather than where you are. And so that's just differentiation.
Awesome, awesome stuff. And so one thing I also wanted to ask you about was, the last few years, obviously you've been, you've built a big presence online. You've been branding yourself. What has been the difference for you versus, you branding yourself versus, just being a company rep? And what do you suggest for people who, because you've put so much value out into the marketplace, obviously, the marketplace pays for value, and the more value you put out, the more you're going to get back. But for new people getting started, or people that don't know how to put out value, what do you suggest to them? And and tie it in with sort of why it's been so successful for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I didn't create my first product. I think I was at like 50,000 a month in MLM before I created my first product. Now, I had been creating blogs and videos, not really great, but I'd been doing them at least. And because I understood the concept, even before I knew the term attraction marketing, I understood the concept of attraction marketing. And attraction marketing is leading with value. And you see it every day, but you just don't classify it as attraction marketing. For example, here in my area, there are home improvement stores. They're massive warehouses like Home Depot, Lowe's, and in some countries they may not have these, I don't know. But here in the U.S., I think maybe Canada, I'm not sure. But there's Home Depot, there's Lowe's, these humongous warehouses of home improvement stuff. Well, guess what? On certain Saturdays of the month, they'll have a how to lay ceramic tile class, and it's free. What is that? That's attraction marketing. Okay. So what happens? So who's going to go into a how to lay ceramic tile? Is it the busy attorney that doesn't do any do-it-yourself projects? No. No, it's the target market of the person that does home improvement. And so, the person that does home improvement goes, ooh, cool, free ceramic, tile laying class. They'll go there. Hey, by the way, we have ceramic tile here. We have grout. We have, spades. We have, shovels. We have concrete, whatever else you need. That's attraction marketing. You led with the value of the class. And, hey, while you're here, if you'd like to buy something, you can. You don't have to, but you can. And so I just believe that if I went into any profession, I would do attraction marketing. So if I was going into, I used to do real estate. And guess what I did with real estate? With real estate, I ran meetings. I ran meetings where I would bring in professionals who would speak on specific topics. Sometimes it was an attorney talking about contracts. Sometimes it was a property manager talking about what to look for in renters. Sometimes it was, people that were flipping houses that would just teach what to do to flip houses. I even went to realtor brokerages and taught them how to market online, right? Now, what was that? Those were all free different things. That's attraction marketing. I was leading with value. And so, you can, for example, right now, let me tell you exactly what's happening. So the people that are watching this right now, if they're paying, any attention, some of them probably have notes. Now, some people will, they'll take their notes and they'll shove it in their bookshelf and they'll hide it from everyone else on the planet, and no one will ever learn of their notes. Other people, like me, I take my notes, I turn it into a video, and I share it with the world. And, you know, so same person attending the same webinar, maybe even the same notes, one will have leverage, one will not. And so there are training notes in your bookshelves that could literally mean hundreds of, maybe even thousands of leads to you, but you'll never know that unless you share it. And you can share it via Facebook status updates, via YouTube videos, via blog posts if you do that stuff. You know, you can share it in a lot of different methods. You can share it on SoundCloud. Maybe you don't like videos, but you like recording audios. You can start your own podcast. You know, I mean, these are all different things that you could do if you played a little bit bigger. And you know, and that's what you can do. You know, we've figured out multiple different ways to get value into the marketplace, and you know, and that nets us a lot of new leads, and nets us a lot of, you know, sales of products, and people reach out to us, and sometimes they're looking for a company, and we'll sign them up into our company. And so, you know, but what we're doing is we're pushing out value into the marketplace, and all that's doing is attracting people. They're like, well, wait a minute, he's giving away free, what is it? You know, and it attracts people to us, and you know, so you can do that. Now, there's two major categories of building this kind of business, and that is passive marketing and active prospecting. Passive marketing is that pumping of the value into the marketplace. That's the blog, the video, the Facebook status update, even an ad is passive marketing. That's where passive marketing is, where you take an action and you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to it. So if I run an ad, I don't know who's going to respond to it because I'm not targeting one person. I'm targeting, you know, a demographic. I'm targeting a certain type of people. I don't know which of them, if any, will raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested, right? So that's passive. Active prospecting is reaching out to another individual and prospecting. You know, so you just need to understand, you know, when I started, I was doing passive marketing, hoping for the best, not getting anything, so I was mainly doing active prospecting. So I would throw out a blog, no leads, okay, let me go create my leads, and then at some point it switched, you know, and, you know, last month, you know, we got over 2,500 leads just from the blog. That's not any capture page, that's just from the blog, 2,500 leads. And you know, so now, if we wanted to, we don't really need to prospect. We do when we're picky, right? You know, if someone's grumpy Gus, we're not prospecting them. You know, so we dictate who we want to work with, and but you know, it's something that anyone that has the ability to take a note has the ability to share that information. It's just that most people don't. Most people, and you know, they have a hang-up of, well, I didn't come up with it, or why would someone listen to me? That's not the point. See, if someone is doing a free ceramic tile laying class, you don't call the company and say, well, what's his resume? Well, how much tile has he actually laid? You know, is he a champion? Is he one of the best ceramic tile layers? No, it's a free class. You know, you're going to go in and evaluate it, right? And so you have to stop being so you know, almost absorbed in thinking, oh, who am I to teach that? And instead just say, you know what, I'm going to make an impact. Someone will get value out of the notes that I shared. And if you have that attitude, you will have people that benefit.
Absolutely, absolutely will. And you know, I know I've certainly attracted a lot of people through my, you know, doing what I do as well, which is blog posts and videos and Facebook statuses, and it definitely works. Do you have any more questions, guys? You know, let us know what you're thinking, how much value you got from this. Otherwise, we're going to.
Great, quick question for you. How long would you say it was where you saw that switch from where you were doing your passive marketing to where it became, you know, the turnaround?
My guess, you know, I'm a very long-term thinker, so if I decide to go into something, I don't do it as a short-term test. And so I always give that kind of background information when I answer this kind of question. I would have blogged until, okay, I would have blogged until I got leads, period. You know, so it wasn't a short-term thing. So I want to say it was around 6 months before I started seeing an okay lead flow. At least to me, it was an okay lead flow. And you know, and then we started just thinking bigger, thinking bigger, thinking bigger, thinking bigger. And you know, at one point, you know, 100 leads a month, I was like, holy crap, man, this is really cooking. And then, you know, then we hit, you know, 500 a month, then we hit 1,000, then 1,400, and then 2,500. And so it's, you know, I would have blogged until I started getting serious leads. But you know, for my experience of doing it 5 to 7 times a week, it was about 6 months where I started getting decent lead flow.
Okay. No, that's a good guideline for people.
Yeah, but keep in mind, there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't prospect. So I wasn't like, oh God, it's month 5. Where are all my leads? You know, I was going to do it like a robot until, I mean, it could have been 2 years, and I'd still be, I mean, I'm kind of weird like that. I mean, I just get on a mission, and I'm just like, you know, so I could have done it without results for 2 years straight and never said a complaint. I would have kept doing it and kept studying to get better, kept getting smarter at it, but I would have kept doing it. And in the meantime, I prospected every single day.
Right. Well, plus you were doing this full time as well, right?
What's that?
Sorry, plus you were doing this full time as well, right?
I didn't. I was kind of finishing up some small business marketing stuff. I was a consultant for small business owners for a little bit, so I had a few contracts I had to, you know, finish up. You know, but my part time is someone's full time. You know, so I mean, I would work, you know, 5 to 8 hours in that other stuff, and work 5 to 8 hours in this stuff. You know, so my part time is someone's full time, and you know, that's just the way it is.
That's the difference.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, Chris has just got a question asking, should you acknowledge where you got the information from? As in, like, you know, when you're talking about sharing your notes when creating a blog or a video, should you acknowledge where you got the information when you're training?
I always do. You know, I mean, I buy and go through a course almost every week. I used to be able to say I go through a course every week, but since we moved, my schedule's been a little wonky, and I had a couple things that I couldn't find that I just need as part of my routine. So I'm back in my routine, so I'll get back to going through, you know, I go through a course a week, and, you know, I mean, there's, in the last couple months, I mean, I've gone through, I think, 3 $2,000 courses. I just went through John Lee Dumas's podcasting course. It was $1,100. So I mean, I go through a lot of courses, and I just don't have an issue. I don't, you know, I've actually had people say, hey man, you don't always have to say where you get your information from, and I'm just like, why not? You know, it's just not a big deal, because I want you to think about this. So the reason someone would ask something like that is they're worried that people will say, oh, you're just a phony, you just repeat what you hear. Well, the wrong kind of person would say that. The person you don't want to work with, the cynic, the skeptic, the small thinker, who cares what they think, okay? The quality person is going to say, here's someone who educates themselves. Here's someone who invests in their education. That's a quality person. So you start to attract more quality people. Like I have no bones about. We've in the last 14 months, we just invested again. We've invested $160,000 just in coaching. That's not travel. That's not courses. That's not books, products. Just in coaching, 160 grand. And make no bones about it. You know, I invest in myself so that I can be more valuable, so I can train more valuably. You know, so my model is invest, learn, teach. So I invest in myself, I invest in courses, in coaching, in products, in events, I learn, and then I teach. And that's my model. And so when someone tells me, hey, I heard this from wherever, my thought process, and I would consider myself, you know, a quality person, my thought process is, cool, here's someone who believes in investing in themselves. Good for them.
Yep, oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I know over the years I've literally invested thousands and thousands of dollars into my education as well, because for that same reason, the more value more wisdom that I have, the more value I can share, and I don't know where I would be if I had not had that thinking. You know, if I was just stuck in this thinking where I was relying on someone else as a mentor or a coach to just teach me and being dependent on them instead of going out and resourcing. You know, training from people like you and training from other leaders. You know, I just go out and I learn as much as I can from as many people as I can, because it helps me grow, and I definitely would not be going in the same direction had I not done that. So it's, you know, it's a massive, massive thing. But well, I don't see any other questions. But thank you so much for your time, Ray. I really appreciate it. It's been an honour. And to have you here, and you know, I know that there's some comments here. Definitely, people getting a lot of value out of this.
Cool.
Of course, it is recorded, so there are a lot of people going to see this on the replay as well. And your podcast, awesome. Honestly, this little few minute snippets of training. This morning you did one. Oh, sorry, morning for me. Probably evening. It was probably yesterday for you. Was one on, you know, what do you say when people Google your company and see it's a scam? I don't know one person that would not have that problem. Every company, like you said, toilet paper is a scam, Jesus is a scam, everything is a scam. So how do people it's so true though, the Pope's a scam. Did you know the Pope's a scam too? So
definitely.
And people being able to answer that objection, and I like the way you dealt with it, and especially the posture, you know, the way that you handled that. So how do people find your podcast so that they can subscribe to it and just get these daily inspirations?
Sure. It's you can go to rayhigdon.com/podcast, and that will take you to the iTunes store. You know, some people, you know, if you're on an iPhone, if you're on a Mac, really simple. If you're not, I know that you can get, like if you're on Android or something like that, you can get an app. I think it's called an app. I'm not sure, but you can listen to stuff on iTunes on that app. And I've heard there's other ways to get it. I'm not aware, but you can probably Google that. But yeah, rayhigdon.com/podcast. Right now, so we do one a day. And it's actually me answering a question every time. So every day I answer one, sometimes two questions. People hit me up on Twitter @Ray Higdon with #AskRay, and then I answer their questions. So it's been fun. It's been different. You know, yesterday we had over 2,000 downloads. I don't know what we're at today. It was like, I think like 2 o'clock, and we were at 1,200 downloads. So a lot of people have been enjoying it. We're just getting started, 2 weeks into it, and it's been fun.
And you've already hit the #1 spot in is it business, or what is it? What's the category?
Well, it's ever changing. We were the #1 spot in business careers for like 4 minutes. And then, you know, now we've kind of floated between 1 and 5, and there's some tough competition out there, man, for sure. So, you know, we're working at it, and we'll build out the downloads and the subscribers, and you know, hey, we'll see what we can do.
Who's your competition? People like Tim Ferriss and okay, fair enough. That's pretty good going though.
Yeah, who I'm competing with is Tim Ferriss, Dave Ramsey, John Lee Dumas, who gets 550,000 downloads a month. So, you know, there's some stiff competition for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a pretty good effort in 2 weeks. I'll definitely say that. So thank you again, Ray. I appreciate your
My
time,
pleasure.
and I know lots of people have got lots of value for this, and you better go do some more courses.
All right, you
Get
got
some more
it.
training.
Bye, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Ray. See everyone next week.
Yeah, stay
Bye.
warm.
High five.